What you got there for us, Steve? I don't even know what that is yet. Coming in hot. It's Engineer Steve. Keeping it live in the stash. You gotta love you some Steve, right, Jer?
Got to.
Yeah.
I like that it's always new. It's not some same old stuff.
He's thinking about you. He's thinking. We want to make sure your
It's for me.
experience is good. Yes.
Oh, that's amazing.
Because we're counting on you to make Stash Nation's experience pretty good and fulfilling
How's
our
that
goal
going?
of leaving you a little better than how we found you. You know what? That's a good question. If you're over on our Twitter handle right now at Follow the Stash, why don't you let Jeremy know how it's going?
Well, performance rating.
Yeah.
I can take
rate
it.
him. Rate him. 1 low, 10 high.
Sure, that sounds good.
How's it been going? Yeah. I'll tell you what, though, putting a bookend on this conversation. So over the last 3 segments, we hashed out the State of the Union and, trying to get an idea about where we are now. I'm getting a lot of chatter right now from folks that are feeling a little uneasy about this shoulder month going into fall 2015 and beyond. And the numbers are sexy, man. Now, granted, numbers always paint a picture in the rears, right? So there's a little bit of a laggard going on, and we're even noticing the one stat, which was sort of a foretelling of where we're going, which was the month over month down.
Yep.
I think price appreciation down about 0.5%. So let's say let's hash through the different categories right now. What would be your final thoughts on if you're a buyer?
So I think if you're a buyer, be careful not to underestimate your buying power. Be careful not to overestimate how much you need. And sit down and talk to somebody who's willing to spend some time with you to figure out where you're going. I'm not talking about filling out a loan application. I'm talking about sitting down at a table with somebody and hashing out your plan to get you in a home.
Or maybe even a quick phone call, too, to make sure that you're even in the right headspace first. I mean, I can imagine you could get past that in the first 5 minutes.
That's where we start.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So for me, I think the opportunity cost right now, I mentioned earlier that there's a lot of folks that are kind of chat, I missed the big run. Okay, I'm going to wait now in the cycle.
Yeah.
Well, the numbers don't quite tell that same truth. As a matter of fact, if you quantify the opportunity cost of sitting around, it can start getting expensive really quick. And that's not even taking into consideration the fact that rents, if you're renting in the interim, are actually on their way up at an alarming rate.
Right.
So to get clarity around those or any of the other topics that we talked about today, on top of getting your hands on the 10 secrets that you need, or myths you might call them, exposed before you go buy a house, go to our website at thegreenhousegroupinc.com and sign up for our free home buyer consultation. And if you're interested also in attending a class, Jeremy does a monthly class. You can check out that class over at Secret Stash Radio. Seats limited. Seats limited?
That's probably true at some level. Yeah.
Seats limited. We got plenty of room, though. What about sellers? Let's move over to sellers. So what's the big takeaway for sellers?
I think sellers, you hit a great point earlier, is be careful not to underestimate the equity that you have in your property now and the power that you have to utilize that for your next move.
Man, I tell you, I'm agape still at those stats.
Yeah, me too.
Basically half. I'm sorry, let me say that differently. So people are underestimating the amount of money they have who think they're underwater, and they're not, at a double rate. And similarly, people think they have half as much equity that they do have on the other side of the spectrum. Yeah. Those are alarming stats.
It's crazy.
And then you think about also when you compound that with the what was the 2.5% basic difference between the homeowner estimate and what the appraisers are actually coming in at.
Yep.
I don't know if I've ever seen a stat like that. That's as long as I've been working. That's crazy.
Yep.
Yeah.
So, and I think the key and the barrier again is having the confidence to go talk to somebody about it. And I don't think there's a lot of systems in place where people are willing to just have these conversations with you. That's why we started the Greenhouse Group, to do it a little bit differently. And I know after I meet with people, they say, I'm so glad I came to meet with you because I didn't want to just walk in a bank and fill out an application. It's not what I needed. I needed someone to talk to me. I needed someone to work me through my ideas so I can get where I want to be. And hearing that is super rewarding. Sometimes the truth is that you don't have anywhere to go, or maybe now's not the time. Maybe waiting is appropriate for you. Panning back a little from the conversation we just had, it occurs to me that someone might think we're just like singing the glories of moving forward. And that's actually not true for some people. And I would say that maybe 20% of the people that I meet just aren't ready right now. And what they appreciate is a plan to get them there.
Imagine that. And I would also say some tools to give them the confidence to even reach out to somebody in the first place. And that's a great one, like we talked about during the seller bit, which was to go over to our website, thegreenhousegroupinc.com, and then go to the sellers page, and you can actually just type in your address, and you're going to get within 24 hours the actual pinpoint price. Not a Zillow estimate. Love Zillow. Love them. Love them. Use them just as much as everybody. But come on, gang. The word is out. That's not necessarily the value of your home.
And then you're going to call them all the time?
Right, and then we're going to berate them. No, not the case, right?
Right.
You're going to get
That's an important factor, because I think people have learned their lesson about that.
You're going to get emailed the report, and then you'll have the tools to be able to make an educated choice on what you want to do. And we know that if it gets excites you, you're probably going to reach back out and say, hey, I wonder what you can go do with this.
Right.
So any other final thoughts?
I would just say, again, feel comfortable talking to somebody and getting your plan together. And if that happens to be us, we have a reputation of doing that for folks. My direct line, I'd feel comfortable having a conversation. It's nice and easy, low pressure, 858-863-0262. That's my direct line. Call me anytime. We can talk about what's going on.
And if you are an owner, or maybe you're thinking about getting in, you maybe you're a little more comfortable about the number stuff, and you want to get comfortable now around what you can go get with it, well, then that would be a good question for me. So I'd invite you to call us over at the Greenhouse Group, 858-863-0261, or you can check us out online at thegreenhousegroupinc.com. Jeremy, thank you so much for coming in.
My pleasure, buddy. My pleasure.
For our monthly State of the Union.
Hey, by the way, congratulations.
Oh, on what, Jer?
Jesse had a new baby.
Yay.
Yeah, good job, man.
I procreated.
You did it.
I appreciate you hanging out, Stash Nation. And by the way, Engineer Steve, thank you again as well, brother, for always keeping it fun for us. We'll be right back here coming up right after this break.